Hello everyone! Welcome to another Let's Play of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. My name is Anna Mardell. I had to work today and I spent all day wanting to get back to this episode because I'm really concerned, alright, about Maya, and I want to make sure that we save her. So, as you recall, Maya thinks she killed a man, but it seems like maybe she's being framed. What? Prosecutor Von Karma? You mean? No, I heard it's his successor this time. Successor? Manfred Von Karma was a really sinister man. Maybe his successor is super nice. I want to know when he had time to have a successor, because I was thinking about this last night, and a key facet of his case is that he did not take a vacation for 40 years. So a woman must have come to Japanifornia, or wherever we are, become pregnant with his child, because I do think they said it was his child. And then move to Germany at some point so that the child could become a prosecutor there. Maybe the child went to Germany to go to law school, or maybe Germany has really good law schools and decided to practice there at 13. Maybe Germany was the only place that would let you into law school at 13. A lot of places actually won't let you skip school super young, even if you're totally qualified, because some things just take time to learn, and it's not like a what's what I'm looking for. It's not like a raw genius thing. Like, it's one thing to be, a raw genius at music or math and do really amazing. Do you want my bottle cap? There you go. There you go, go ahead. And do really amazing compositions or math proofs. That's something that you can kind of raw nature it. But things like science and history and lawyering, a lot of that requires learning what other people have done and what happened when they did it, and what the consequences were, and a lot of that just can only be sped up so much because raw talent isn't going to imbue that stuff into your brain directly, because it's not intuitive. It's the history of what humans have done. So that's something that I think of a lot when we talk about child geniuses in media, is whether the thing that they're a genius at is something that you reasonably can speed up, or whether it's something that you cannot speed up. Potentially even something like writing. You can have a child genius writer, you could have a child genius, I don't know, maybe a dancer, again, something that where it's reasonable that raw talent could get them to the top of their field without them needing to know what other people have done. But once you have to start knowing what other people have done and have to start learning and reading all that stuff, that can only be sped up so much. But anyway, I don't know why. All that to say, that's why a lot of schools actually won't accept you at 13, upper education, university type schools, because no matter how well you test, or no matter how smart you are on paper, you still need time to absorb a lot of the information that they want you to come to school with. So all that to say, maybe Germany was the only place that would let young Von Karma study, and so they moved there and began practicing there, and I guess just only ever saw their father on their vacation time, since Von Karma never took any vacation days for him to go visit them. So that's kind of sad. I think it's sad. I'm sad. Anyway, so all that to say, this Von Karma might be nice. He was a man obsessed with the word perfection. He had a perfect record for 40 long years. Who knows what sorts of dirty tricks he used to get each of those guilty verdicts. And now his successor. I wonder what kind of person they will turn out to be. It's no good. Mystic Maya. Pearly! You showed up. Thanks for coming all this way. I was really worried about you. Hey, where's your mother? Didn't you two come together? Mother is watching over the trainees. She said they have training for 2 days straight with no breaks. What? Then you came all by yourself? Yep, I snuck out of the manor and followed a map. Don't tell me you walked all the way here. Of course not. I ran. Oh, that's... Oh my! If it takes 2 hours by train. Pearly, what about the train? Huh? What's a train? I give up. It's time, isn't it? I'm really scared. What if Von Karma tries to do something to me? At least I know Mr. Edgeworth would be nicer to me than Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth? Who is that? He's Nick's boyfriend. Okay, I'll read it properly. He's Nick's rival. Well, he's also a friend. That face, though. She's shipping him just as hard as I am. I still remember him as though I'd seen him only yesterday. Every trial was a scorchingly fierce battle until the very end. It was always back and forth with them. But when you're rivals for life... Maya? Please don't mention that name ever again. Huh? But why, Nick? I'm sorry, Maya. I forgot you don't know. Did you two break up? He's gone, and he's not coming back. What? And look, it breaks him up so much he doesn't even want to hear Edgeworth's name if he's not coming back. You tell me they're not in love. You can't, because they so clearly are. Wait a second, what's that supposed to mean? Court will commence shortly. Please proceed into the courtroom. Let's go. Now's not the time to talk about that anyway. Nick! I want to know about it. I am confident he will come back. Court is now in session for the trial of Maya Fey. Are the prosecution and the defense prepared? That's his successor? Wow. Okay. I like her hair. I like really all of it except the bow. I'm not a big fan of the bow. But she makes it work. It works on her. What is with this kid? Come on, kid. How old? Oh, we don't have anything yet. Mr. Wright, are you prepared? Huh? Yes, Your Honor. Why does he always seem mad at me? Oh no, she needs a voice. What kind of voice should we give her? I don't know anything about her personality. I can't do that. Oh, she's the boot to the head girl, isn't she? The Jenny, Oh, Arthur, you're too kind. I recognize her now. But no, I can't give her that voice. That would be wrong. Let's see. Okay. Mr. Phoenix Wright. You must be a little shocked, because I am a woman, correct? Hold on. She's the famed successor to Prosecutor Von Karma? I am Franziska von Karma, the prodigy. My friend wanted to know why I wasn't doing German accents for the von Karmas, and the very simple reason for that is that I cannot do a German accent. And it would be bad. I can do a very limited number of accents. German is not one of them. I see. I gave up a promising career in Germany and came to this country for one sole reason. Revenge. Is she holding a whip? Is that a whip? That's not a whip. It's a very long extension cord? What is it? Revenge? Is this about her father? Yeah, baby, I'm pretty sure it probably is. If it's something of a personal nature, I'm sure you can... Jesus! Did she just whip the judge? I'm talking... she is! If you interrupt again, my whip will do the speaking for me. I'm sorry, but we have a no whips allowed rule in this courtroom? Please speak with your mouth like a normal person, I beg of you. Yow! Make no mistake, I will defeat you. Prepare to go down, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'm very uncomfortable with, like, everything. Prosecutor von Karma, your opening statement, please. Those of von Karma blood have only one fate, and that is perfection. The defendant, Maya Fey, will find no escape from her guilt on my watch. Very well. What is the defense's position? Your Honor. Does the defense wish to enter a plea of not guilty? Yes. Foolish fool, who foolishly dreams of foolish dreams. Don't quit your day job and go into poetry. She's 18? Well, okay. I'll enjoy being her first defeat, then. 10 minutes. I give the defense 10 minutes before it changes its plea. Oh, honey, your father tried that. Turns out I can talk really slowly. That's right. I'll have you running for the justified self-defense plea in no time. Justified self-defense? Why is that in red? This sequel is messing me up because it puts things in red that are not important. And previously we had an agreement, it and I, and it only put important things in red, and it's very distressing, I must say. I'm gonna write it down just in case. Justified self-defense. Oh, and I'm gonna read it real slow, just to piss her off. A plea usually reserved for when a person unintentionally kills in defense of themselves. Which doesn't really feel like the situation here with Maya. I mean, if I was going to do an affirmative defense, where we said, yeah, we killed him, but it's not our fault, I would plea, like, temporary insanity, where Maya genuinely thought she was the spirit of the dead nurse. I mean, I'm not saying she was, I'm just saying that's the only affirmative defense that would make sense to me. The guy wasn't trying to kill her. We could very easily make a solid case that it was self-defense. How? How could you make a solid case that Maya killed a client in self-defense? The defense stands by the plea of not guilty, Your Honor. To plead justified self-defense is to say you did kill someone. Right, that's what an affirmative defense is. The fuck was that, baby? It was like a curtsy and a bow, but really kind of neither. Work on it, okay? How foolish. If that's how you want to play it, Mr. Phoenix Wright, then I shall now call the first witness. She's just as scary as her father. Like father, like daughter, I suppose. You might want to talk a little faster, though, baby. You're cutting into your own 10 minutes, I'm just saying. Witness, your name and occupation? Yes, sir. My name is Dick Gumshoe. I'm a detective at the local precinct. Ah! Get to the point already. Explain to the court the details of this murder. Yes, sir. If everyone would please look at this map. The channeling chamber has no windows, and the door was locked shut. At the time of the murder, only the victim and the defendant were in the room. I like how they marked defendant K for killer. Like, we've already kind of just decided. What were they doing in there? They were channeling a spirit, sir. Channeling a spirit? That's quite the look of disbelief, Your Honor. Anyway, a few minutes after the channeling started, gunshots were heard coming from inside the room, sir. A few of the witnesses broke the door down and rushed into the room. And that's when they found that the victim was already dead. Oh, sorry, that's the judge. We still have the problem of me not being able to tell when the talker changes. And that's when they found the victim was already dead, correct? Now, I believe this is one of the most open and shut cases I have ever presided over. So, how was the victim killed? I was about to get to that. Stop wasting my time, then. The direct cause of death was a pistol shot to the forehead, sir. The shot was fired from point-blank range. But before the victim was shot, sir, he was stabbed in the chest. The wound was very severe, but not enough to cause instantaneous death. The murderer used the pistol to finish the victim off after the stabbing. That's very strange. How did either of the weapons get in the room? So the victim was stabbed before being shot. This is the victim's autopsy report, sir. The court accepts it into evidence. Mr. Wright, you may question the witness. I guess we go back to pressing things. The murder weapon, Detective Gumshoe. Whose pistol was it? It was the victim's. The victim? Why would he have a pistol? Who cares? The point is that you are missing whose fingerprints are on that pistol. If you're not already paying attention to that, I suggest you start. Fingerprints? There were fingerprints? Along with the victims, the defendant, Maya's Faye, were also in the grip, sir. So the defendant's fingerprints were left on the murder weapon. I walked right into her hands. She would have brought it up eventually. Point blank range. How far away is that? It's anywhere between 12 to 20 inches away. And how do you know he was shot at point blank range, Detective? Mr. Phoenix Wright! I grow tired of the foolish foolery of the foolish fools of this foolish country. Excuse me. Gunpowder burn. Gunpowder burn. When something is shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole. Gunpowder exploding is what makes a bullet fire, and that gets real hot, pal. And these were definitely some gunpowder burns left on the victim's forehead. Wow, didn't know that. Live and learn, I guess. Stabbed. What was he stabbed with? A fruit knife. I see.
And whose knife was it? It looks like it belongs to the face, sir. And of course, my face fingerprints are all over it. All over it, huh?
Where does my headphones feel? There we go. This doesn't look good. What will you do now, Mr. Phoenix Wright? How severe was the wound?
If it had been half an inch more to the right, it would have hit the victim's heart. After a stab like that, it's impossible to fight back, let alone stand.
This testimony makes it sound like Maya stabbed him with intent to kill. Are you sure he was stabbed first, then shot?
Yep, sure can be. One look at the wounds, and you'd come to the same conclusion too, pal.
A fool is a fool who will only listen to the foolish opinions of other foolish fools. A pistol shot to the forehead at point blank is certainly enough to kill instantly. Does it matter then which was first? Think a little more before you open that big mouth of yours, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What a pain.
That's enough. We have clearly established how the victim was murdered. Now, I brought the 2 murder weapons with me today.
So he was stabbed, and then he was... shot. And we found a shot. Hey, baby. We found a shot in the... We found a shot in the folding screen. So what if Maya stabbed him and someone behind the screen shot? No, that wouldn't be point blank.
Very well. The court accepts them into evidence.
The date and time of death was June 19th at 3:15 p.m. Eyewitnesses claim to have heard 2 gunshots at this time. 2 gunshots. One of them would have been the... Get off of there. Get down. Down. Crisp. Thank you. Good boy.
And 2 murder weapons, both with the defendant's fingerprints on them. This does seem like an open and shut case.
Cookie, are you choking? Hey, what's going on? Okay, remember what the vet taught us? Do you remember? You have to stretch so you can breathe. Stretch so you can breathe. Stretch. Yeah. The vet says you get all hunched up and then it's even harder for you to breathe. Can you get it there? There you go. Yeah. Does that feel better? Good stretch. Good girl. Poor thing. I didn't know you were choking. I'm sorry. Okay, Mommy's gonna go back to our Let's Play now, okay? You alright? You stay there where I can see you. Sorry about that. We had a little choky cat. It's okay. She just gets hair stuck in her throat.
This does seem like an open and shut case.
Naturally.
This is going from bad to worse. As if the summary just now wasn't oversimplifying things to the extreme.
Your Honor, feel free to slam that little gavel of yours. After all, there is no room left for doubt, is there? We haven't even talked to Maya.
That is quite true, Mr. Wright. Yes? Even in the face of all this, do you still wish to plead not guilty? It's the opinion of this court that if you do not adjust your plea, you stand to lose.
See, just as I promised, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You would change your plea in less than 10 minutes.
What will you do, Mr. Wright? Will you change to justified self-defense?
Baby. Okay, hold on just a second. And we are back. I am so sorry about that. We had to go get some fresh water for Cookie.
Will you change to justified self-defense? Now would be the time to do so.
No!
This is your final chance. This is a huge decision. I better think this through all the way.
No! No, I won't do it. No!
If we plead justified self-defense, we would basically be confessing a murder. After the trial, Maya's life would be ruined, and she'd be labeled a murderer. I can't let that happen. Your Honor. Have you reached a conclusion, Mr. Wright? The defense will not change its plea. We will accept nothing short of complete acquittal.
Okay, can we have her, detained or that whip taken away or something? Because that was my face.
You have sealed your fate, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Detective. Yes, sir. Present the final portion of your testimony. The final strike. Yes, sir. Now see here. Proceedings are run by... Ah! Yes, of course. Go ahead, detective, and give your testimony.
I think the court would like to hear about the other piece of incriminating evidence.
Sorry, pal, but there's an even more incriminating piece of evidence. This is the costume the defendant was wearing at the time of the crime. As you can see, it's covered in blood. The defendant attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. So this is the costume. There certainly is evidence of a backspray of blood on this. This piece directly links my fate to the crime, sir. I see. The court accepts this into evidence. All right, Mr. Wright. Maya's fingerprints on both murder weapons and blood splatters on her clothes. Could this situation get any worse?
Huh? What's wrong? You seem to be at a loss. I think this is the last piece of testimony the prosecution should have to offer. Feel free to sulk off with your tail between your legs, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Please stop calling me by my full name. It's disturbing. Maya's costume? Yeah, she was wearing this when we arrested her. She's wearing her channeling costume today, too. Is she not allowed to wear anything else? This blood on the costume. Lab results show it was the victim's blood. So there is blood from the victim on the defendant's clothes. Definitely not good. Were there any other clues you could glean from this piece of evidence?
Well, if you must change the topic, then the good detective here must testify again. But too bad. Not enough time. Let's move on.
Yes, Ms. Von Karma is perfectly correct. Now even the judge is on her side. But if I bite off more than I can chew, I'm gonna press further. Why is Miss Von Karma suddenly putting up resistance? There must be a reason as to why she threw out an objection like that.
What's that?
There must be something about this costume.
There's a hole in the sleeve.
I just have to look harder.
Mr. Wright, Ms. Von Karma's logic is perfect. There is no way for you to poke a hole in it.
Looks like my time is up. So about the costume. There is one little thing. Your Honor. Actually, there is something very wrong with this piece of evidence.
What? What are you talking about, pal?
Where is this problem you're talking about? I've come this far. There's no turning back now. The problem I have with this piece of evidence is here. Take that! I asked the court to please take a look at the sleeve of this costume.
The sleeve? There's a tiny hole here.
A hole? But that wasn't in the report.
Hold on. What's this around the hole? It smells faintly of gunpowder.
Gunpowder? No one ever told me!
A hole that smells of gunpowder? And it looks like I found the hole I was looking for.
Your Honor, the only logical conclusion you can make is that it must be a bullet hole.
Order! Order! This is a very grave matter. It's best we correct the court record first, before anything else.
Sorry about that. I guess we messed up, sir. Is she actually smiling? What else is she hiding?
Pull yourself together, detective. That tiny hole doesn't change a thing. The strength of the evidence still holds. Continue with your testimony. That just now was a fluke, nothing more.
How can you say something like that? This is a huge oversight.
Well, I agree it is a mistake on the part of the police. What Prosecutor Von Karma has said is true. The evidence still stands. If you do not find a more definitive problem with the evidence, then...
No way.
Detective Gumshoe, please continue with your testimony.
Yes, sir. The defendant attacked and killed a person who without a doubt was not fighting back.
Oh, well, what about the bullet hole?
Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes? Having you call me by my full name is kind of a weird feeling.
You said that my client killed a person who without a doubt was not fighting back.
Yeah, I did.
Then what, may I ask, is this bullet hole you police overlooked supposed to be?
What does it mean?
I'll tell you what it means. It means that the victim fired off a shot. Is that not what it means, to fight back?
You're right.
It seems you are correct. If the victim had tried to shoot the defendant, it would change everything.
All right, the wind seems to be shifting.
Huh. What is with that "are you finished yet" laugh? Are you finished yet, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
Ms. Von Karma?
It seems that Maya Fey was shot at by the victim. However, that is only grounds enough to support a justified self-defense plea.
That is correct.
But I'm sure you remember, Your Honor, what the defense clearly said. They rejected justified self-defense and pleaded not guilty.
Why, that's right. Which means the defense has yet to prove anything at all.
Well, that's true.
Furthermore, just the fact that there is a bullet hole in the costume is not enough to substantiate even a plea of justified self-defense.
How so?
Ow! Don't just stand there. Hurry up and tell the court what transpired that day. With the new information we acquired added in, of course.
You mean by myself? You want me to put together the scenario all by myself? Ow! Yes, sir. Right away, sir. During the channeling, the defendant saw her chance to stab the victim in the chest.
Really? This is just speculation.
Of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back, sir.
Also speculation.
While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun. The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed. The defendant then picked up on the opening, took the victim's gun, and ended it.
What about the stabbing?
This scenario you have put together does make sense.
Yes, sir.
Well, Mr. Wright, on the surface it makes some sense. However, I won't give up that easily. Please refrain from glaring at me like that. Now then, your cross-examination, please.
There is quite a difference in height between Dr. Gray and the defendant. Add in body strength, and it seems unlikely the defendant could have stabbed the victim.
Now that you mention it, yeah, I guess.
You think you can get away with such flimsy reasoning, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Maya Fey was in the middle of channeling, was she not? When channeling with the Curain channeling technique, the medium physically changes. With the nurse's build, the defendant could have easily been a match for the doctor. Wait, we accept that that's a thing? Really? Because I feel like that should change Maya's culpability if we all agree that a spirit possessed her? I don't believe it. She even studied up on the Curain channeling technique. Like I said before, I am perfect.
About what you were talking about, I didn't quite get it. Never mind. Let's continue with the testimony.
He was stabbed, but the stab wound didn't kill him.
But if you think about the blood loss, he was probably hurt pretty bad.
How badly hurt would you say he was?
And actually, I went to give blood the other day, and afterwards I felt a little lightheaded and dizzy. I guess the damage was maybe about 10 times the dizziness? Ow! Sorry.
Where in the world did that pistol come from?
It looks like the victim, Dr. Gray, had specially bought it for that day.
A handgun?
He got it off the black market about 2 days before the murder.
Why did Dr. Gray bring a gun? Was he taking precautions against something? He missed and hit her sleeve? Missing the tiny hole in this costume will be the prosecution's undoing.
Yeah? What do you mean?
This little hole has actually created a huge hole in your testimony.
Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
You said the two of them were fighting when the victim fired his gun at point-blank range. If that were true, where is the gunpowder burn on this costume?
Oh, right. Gunpowder burned?
This is what you testified earlier. When something is shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole. Ooh! But there is not a single trace of gunpowder burn on this costume.
That is a very good point. And what exactly does this mean?
It means that when a shot was fired, they were standing apart from each other.
I'm disappointed, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You think you can punch a hole in my logic with that? What, with wishy-washy thinking like that, anyone can explain anything away.
Then I implore you to disprove my line of thinking.
Let's see. In the middle of their fight, the victim pushed the defendant away. And it was then, when they were separated, that he fired. How is that?
As if that was even possible. According to testimony, the wound from the stabbing was very severe. The victim would not have had the strength to push the defendant far after that.
Well, then... That's right. The defendant must have pushed the victim away. After stabbing him, she must have put some space between the doctor and herself. And then while she was preparing to strike again, the doctor took his shot. There, that should satisfy even you.
That does make an awful lot of sense. What do you think, Mr. Wright?
I must be careful. I can't afford to make a mistake here. Concentrate and think.
Well, I'm not going to agree with her. There is a fatal flaw in her argument, Your Honor. Fatal? Flaw? Ow!
Very interesting. I would love to see where this flaw is. Show me something that contradicts my explanation.
There has to be a snag in her explanation somewhere. She put some distance between them before rushing to make the final blow. And when she was about to strike, the doctor took his shot. There must be a piece of evidence that contradicts this line of thinking.
There were two shots. One of them went in the guy's head. The other went through Maya's sleeve. And then we have a third one that's went through the folding screen. But there was only two shots. So two of those three gun holes have to be combined. Maya's sleeve was not shot at point blank range because there's no burn. So Maya's sleeve and the victim's head can't be combined because the burns don't match up. I don't see a gunpowder burn on the screen, so I don't think it can match up with the victim's head either. The victim's head has to be its own shot. So the folding screen and the sleeve have to be combined. Either the sleeve was in front of the folding screen or the sleeve was behind the folding screen. She is claiming that Maya was shot when she was approaching the victim. What if she was shot fleeing the victim? If you wanted to flee, where would you go? You'd go for the door, but he was blocking the door. So the only other place in that room to hide would be behind the screen. What if he shot at the screen and it hit the screen and her sleeve? That's all I got.
This is the piece of evidence that destroys your logic. What is that? A folding screen? I would like to point the court's attention to the hole in this folding screen. Ah! It looks like you already know what I'm talking about. What? Who? Where? Mr. Wright, your explanation, please.
Are these two really that clueless?
The bullet went through the defendant's sleeve first.
Then the folding screen. Okay, alright. I was gonna say she was hiding behind it. It passed through at a height approximately 8 inches off the ground, which means when the shot was fired, the defendant, was not getting ready to strike, but was actually squatting low to the ground. Order. This changes everything. Please look at this diagram of the crime scene. The victim, Dr. Gray, was here when he fired the shot, and the bullet hit this folding screen. It hit at this location, about 8 inches off the ground. At this time, the defendant was in this area.
Well, he's saying she was in front of it, so that would put her here?
She was standing here, near the folding screen.
Wait a second. We know the defendant was close to the ground, based on the height of the bullet hole. But how can you gauge the distance from that? Isn't it possible that the defendant was standing much closer to the victim?
That's impossible.
Why?
You, of all people, should know the answer to that question, Ms. Von Karma. If she were shot from somewhere closer, there would be gunpowder burns present. However, there is nothing of the sort around the bullet hole of this costume.
Ah! Curse you, Mr. Phoenix Wright! You!
I believe it has now been proven that the defendant was standing a ways from the victim when she was shot at. But do you think this has changed the defendant's situation?
Yes!
Honestly, Your Honor, this changes everything. The prosecution has claimed that the defendant was aiming to kill by stabbing. If that were true, delivering the final strike with the knife would be ideal. However, where and what was the defendant doing at the time?
Squatting all the way by the folding screen?
Exactly. If Maya Fey was the real murderer, why would she be by the folding screen instead of preparing to strike?
Someone else killed him, and Maya was just in the room at the time.
Upon further consideration, it does make very little sense.
Yeah, I figured there had to be a reason.
Figuring things out and proving the logic behind everything is your job. Alright, with this, the rest of the trial should be in the bag.
Blast radius of disaster. You are such a smart man, Mr. Phoenix Wright. To think that you've been able to take a completely hopeless case to this point. Now I know why Papa had a tough time with you. You amuse me. Of all the things to inherit, why did it have to be that smarmy smile?
Detective, how dare you damage my perfect logic?
How is it my fault?
You can start repairing your standing by first removing that 3-strand goatee. And rest assured your punishment will come later.
Punishment?
You know, maybe it's actually a bad thing for prosecution to be able to punish cops for not lying on the stand. I'm beginning to see the problem here. Well then, Your Honor, I think I've had all that I can take of this detective's face. I think it's time to call in the next witness.
Next witness? That's gotta be Lotta. Very well. The court will take a 5-minute recess. And after we reconvene, we will hear from the next witness.
Oh good, we get more Lotta. Oh, that's the end of the episode. That didn't feel like an hour. Was that an hour? I don't know. I didn't set my timer. Well, okay, obviously we're gonna save. And then... Baby, what are you doing? Please don't knock things over, thank you. We'll cut here and... No.
Crisp.
We'll cut here and I will see you in the next episode. Once again, this has been Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. My name is Anna Mordal, and I had to go stop my kitten from eating something he shouldn't. Bye-bye!